All right. Hello, everybody. How are we doing today? Let me know how you're doing. And, um, we didn't have a live last week because it was 4th of July. So I hope everybody had a good 4th of July last week. Let me know, like, what fun things you did. If you did anything fun or ate any good food, let me know that too. I was supposed to go to a parade, but my dad, he's usually in it every year. But he ended up canceling because it was just so hot and he just didn't want to deal with the heat. Like last week it was like over 100 degrees, and then with the heat index it felt like 110, 111, and so I can't blame him for that. It was miserable, but this week's been better. It's been in like the 80s and 90s. So it's been a lot better this week. But anyway, let me know what you guys did. We had some good food too. We made some ribs and stuff, so it was good. Um, but anyway, uh, just let me know who's watching. If you're watching live, just say hi. And if you're watching the replay, just put hashtag replay. And that just lets me know who's watched and who's tuning in and everything. All right, so today I wanted to share the 5 habits that really helped me change my health. They really helped me figure out a good plan for myself, and it's been these 5 things I've stuck with long term. And so for me, they're realistic. They're realistic things that I can do to better my health, right? So I wanted to share those with you today because I'm always curious, like when I'm trying to, like when I was going through my health journey, but also like in different areas of my life. I like learning what other people do, like I like learning what people value and what they say are, the biggest things that helped them. And that's why I wanted to share these 5 things with you that have really shaped my health and, you know, made me healthier. And for me, they've been realistic. So, anyways, so if you want to know the 5 habits, just put a heart emoji in the comments, and that'll let me know that you're ready to hear these things. All right. So, so that the first habit that really changed my health and just really made the biggest difference for me was adopting an 80-20 balanced way of eating. And if you've been here a while, I talk about this all the time. Y'all probably get sick of me talking about 80-20, 80-20, but that's really like, it's just really been a lifesaver for me because um, I'm not one of those people that wants to be on a diet all the time or cut out food groups or cut out foods that I love. I just don't like having that restriction. And so for me, the 80-20 balanced way of eating really helps. And that's why I talk about it all the time. I really believe in it. And it really changed my health. And so I'll just tell you a little bit about, if you're new, you may not have heard this. So I'll tell you a little bit about how I came about finding the 80-20. So back in 2017, when I was diagnosed with, oh, hey, thanks for joining. All right, good. We got some live viewers. Great. So back in 2017, when I was diagnosed with gestational diabetes, I had to figure out a way to eat that I could stick to and that would help me balance my blood sugar. That was my main objective, is figuring out how to get my blood sugar down and have it in a normal range, right? At least most of the time. And the 80/20 way of eating did that for me. So let me explain what 80/20 is for people who haven't heard it. Eating 80/20 just means to make whole unprocessed foods at least 80% of your diet. So 80% of the time you're going to choose whole unprocessed foods. So let me break that down for you, because a lot of us are like, okay, 80%, what does that mean? So I broke it down for myself, and I am a person, on average, I eat 3 meals a day. Now, some days I don't. Some days I might eat 2 meals. Some days I might eat a snack, but that's very rarely. I don't snack that much. But on average, I eat 3 meals a day. So this is what that is based off of. If you eat differently, then you're going to base it off of yours. But I'm just using me for an example. So I eat 3 meals a day. And so that's 21 meals a week, right? That's 21 meals a week if you eat 3 meals a day. So 80% of that means 17 of my meals in a week are going to consist of nutrient dense whole foods. And so then you're left with the 20%, right? So no more than 20% is going to be what you're going to use for like your splurge meals, your enjoyment meals, the things that that aren't very nutrient dense, but you love them and you enjoy them, and you want to keep them in your life, right? And so that 20% means no more than 4 meals need to be processed foods. So that's what I pretty much stick to. And so sometimes it's like my 4 meals might look like two meals, like a lunch and a dinner, and then like 2 desserts that week, right? Or sometimes I save all that for one day and just have a splurge day and have 4 splurge meals or 3 splurge meals or something like that, or 3 splurge meals and a snack. And that day, if I choose to do that, is going to be a higher blood sugar day. But it kind of equals out, not kind of, it does. It equals out when the other 6 of my days are low blood sugar days. So my blood sugar stays in a very normal range for 6 days. And then I may have a splurge day where, it's higher, but it averages out at the end of the week or the end of the month. And if you were to go get your A1C checked, then it's going to average out. It's going to equal out and even out and balance out, however you want to say it. So, so that's what I mean by 80/20. And that's just what I do. I plan 4 meals that I'm going to eat that week, 4 meals or 2 meals and two desserts or whatever I want to do, that I'm going to splurge on, and have enjoyment meals. And then the rest of my meals are whole unprocessed foods, like, eggs. And hey, how are you? So like eggs, fruits, vegetables, meats, nuts, nut butters, seeds, beans, all those kind of things. Those are my My unprocessed food meals, my 80% consists of those foods. So hopefully that makes sense to you. Let me know if that made sense, if the way I broke it down made more sense to you, because I know when we say percentages, we don't always know, okay, well, what does that break down to, you know? Um, so anyway, it's simple math. So if you eat 6 meals a day or you eat 2 meals a day, you're just gonna um, do that simple math and figure out how many meals that is for you. So hopefully that makes sense. But anyway, this really works for me because my overall diet is healthy, right? But I don't feel deprived because nothing is off limits. And I don't have that added stress of worrying if there will be anything I can eat when I'm out at a restaurant or at someone's house, right? So, so this, I think it was, no, it was the weekend before. Well, this past weekend, I went to my nephew's birthday party, and it was like a swim party and everything. And we had hamburgers and hot dogs and chips and cake and all that. And that was my splurge, for, I had a couple of splurges. I had cake and burgers and all that kind of stuff. And so, um, that was my splurge for the week. And, and then after that, I move on, like I move on and I eat healthy the rest of my week and the rest of my days. So, that's how I do things. And it really has helped me because then I don't feel like the stress of, oh, what's going to be, what are they going to serve? I don't have to worry about it. I can just plan that. Hey, Larry, how are you? Thanks for joining. I don't have to worry about what they're going to serve at their house or at the party or what restaurant we're going to. I just use that as one of my um, splurge meals. So, following the 80/20 is a good balance for me. So that is like my number one thing that really helped me change my health, was staying consistent with that. Because before I started doing the 80/20 balanced way of eating, I would go on diets, restrictive diets, and then I would feel really deprived, and then I would get off of them and just binge eat. And that was my cycle for years, until I developed diabetes and I had to figure out another way. And so this is what I've been doing since then, since 2017, and it really works for me. Okay, the second habit that changed my health is getting consistent movement. And movement for me used to be all about burning calories. That's what I thought movement was, but not anymore. I've learned that it's so much more than that. Now I use movement for stress management, for mental health management, for growing and keeping muscle, and for blood sugar regulation, not for weight loss. I do not think of movement or exercise for weight loss anymore, because my focus is not burning calories anymore. It's more about all these other things I just listed. And so when you shift your mindset around exercise and movement, it becomes much more enjoyable, right? Like, it's not a chore anymore. It's not something you have to do. It's enjoyable. You look forward to it when you switch your mindset around the exercise. So what I mean is, before, when I looked at exercise as a punishment for what I ate, and my focus was burning calories, I felt like I had to do these really intense workouts and do exercise that I didn't enjoy, because I knew those were the exercises that would burn the most calories. So, if I ate a piece of chocolate cake, I punished myself by having to go run however many miles that it took to burn that off. And that was not enjoyable. It was not the right mindset to have around movement and exercise. But now that my focus is different, I only do movement that I enjoy. So if I don't enjoy it, I won't stick with it. So I only do things that I enjoy. And this was a game changer for me because now I wake up every day and I'm excited to move my body. So my favorite things are going for walks with my dog. And if you guys follow me on social media, a lot of times I'll put it in my stories that my dog, we're on our walk, me and my dog. And we've been going really early in the morning, like as soon as I get up, before the kids get up and everything, I just put on my workout clothes and we go for a walk. And that has been the most enjoyable exercise for me lately because it's nice and cool outside at that time. It's not hot yet. The sun's just coming up. It's quiet, you can hear nature and everything. It's super relaxing and enjoyable. So that's one of my favorite things. And then I also love lifting weights. So I do that 3 times a week, really, on average. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'll do like 30 minutes of, like one day I'll do shoulders, one day I'll do back, one day I'll do chest, stuff like that. And it's short. It's 30 minutes or less. And then I also love yoga. So, but I use yoga. Sometimes I'll do a longer yoga session if I really feel like I'm stressed and I really need to relax and stuff. But a lot of times I'll just use yoga as a cool down for, after I've lifted weights or something. So I'll use it to stretch back out and cool down and all that. And it's usually like 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And at the end of my workout, like if I've lifted weights or went on a walk or something, I'll use yoga like that. And but then every now and then when I feel super stressed and like I really need to relax, then I'll do some yoga, and specifically yin yoga. That is a really good yoga type of yoga that helps you relax. So I'll do that when I need to. So anyway, number 3, the next habit that changed my health was making stress management a priority. And I never used to prioritize stress management before. And I realize now that that is the reason that my cravings got so out of control, because I wasn't managing my stress in a healthy way. I was managing it by stress eating. And that became a habit. And then that became an addiction. So now I realize that now that I've really dove into stress management and all that. So stress management doesn't mean you have to go do an hour of yoga or meditation every day. That's not what it means. I look at stress management as practicing habits that lower cortisol. So if you think of it like this, it is so much more than doing yoga or meditation, because stress management can be anything that lowers your cortisol. Let me get a sip of water. So cortisol is a stress hormone, and if it's always up, then it affects your overall health. And so we want to get it down. We want to always be mindful of, I'm not saying that you can't get stressed out, right? I say that all the time. That is not Oh, that's awesome. My wife and I meditate 20 minutes twice a day. That is wonderful. I love to hear that. That's great for stress management. Um, but so it's not stress management is anything that's going to lower your cortisol and keep you from staying stressed out. So it's not that we can't get stressed out. That is impossible, right? Like we have stressful lives, things happen, and we're going to get stressed out during the day, right? So we just have to find ways to manage that, to get it back down, to get it back down. You know, we always need to be mindful of that. Let's get it back. Let's get our stress under control and lower our cortisol. Because if we stay in that fight or flight, that high cortisol state all the time, then it's going to affect your health. And high cortisol can cause health issues like heart disease, type 2 diabetes, obesity, anxiety, depression, all these health issues that we don't really think about is related to stress and stress management and high cortisol, but it is. A lot of times that's why we develop these issues, because our cortisol has been high too long and um, we haven't managed it, right? We haven't managed it in a healthy way. So, managing cortisol levels should be a priority, a health priority. And one habit that has a major impact on cortisol is sleep. Sleep has one of the biggest impacts on your cortisol level. And this is why getting good sleep is so important. But some other great things to reduce cortisol are just practicing 5 or 10 minutes of meditation, like Larry said him and his wife do. Or 5 or 10 minutes of yoga can get your cortisol down, get your stress level down. And you can do these a few times a week, even if you don't have time to do them every day. Even just a few times a week can dramatically improve your stress and your cortisol level. So you could also get out in nature. Like I kind of kill two birds with one stone with that, because I get out in nature to walk my dog, but I'm also getting movement, and so that is a great way to get both in. And what nature does is it instantly reduces your cortisol and helps us relax. And a lot of studies have shown that just looking at nature, getting out in nature, hearing nature, things like that, like just even looking out a window or sitting on your porch and looking out and listening to the birds and watching the trees and looking at the flowers and these kind of things can really reduce our stress and our cortisol level. So try that. And another one that I love is deep breathing. So practicing deep breathing whenever you feel stressed is a great way to lower your stress. And it's something that you can do anywhere. So if you're at work, if you're around a lot of people and you can't just like go do a meditation, you can always use breath to reduce your stress and reduce your cortisol levels. So you can take a deep breath in and hold it for a few seconds and then release it slowly. And that will get your stress level down. And if you do this like 3 times in a row, you're going to feel more relaxed and less stressed out. Box breathing, that's right. That's what they call it. So you can try any of these ways to manage your stress. And what I suggest is like really, try all these things and see what you like, see what's realistic for you in your life, and try these and see what you can prioritize. Is it going to be the deep breathing? Is that the thing that you can do, for your stress management? Is that what the thing you can prioritize? Is it walking in nature? Is it trying some meditation or some yoga? What can you put on your calendar and really make it a daily or at least a few times a week kind of habit that will help you reduce your stress and reduce your cortisol? So just think of it like that, like an appointment. Put it on your calendar, put it in your phone, and have an alert on it. Oh, it's time for me to do my deep breathing. It's time to do my meditation, whatever it is. And then you're more likely to stick with it. Okay. The fourth habit that helped me change my health was practicing mindful eating. And if you've been around for a while, I'm sure you've heard me talk about this one as well. But it was a game changer for me because, um, when we eat unconsciously, when we eat like just shove it in our mouth and we're not really thinking about it, we tend to get hungry and want to snack more. So when we can practice mindful eating, that actually helps us feel more satisfied with our meals, um, and helps us like slow down and listen to our bodies like fullness signals and all that. So let me explain what it is. So, oh, yes, he's asking, did I ever reverse my diabetes? Yes, I did. I have not had diabetes since 2017. I've reversed it by doing these things. Um, So, yeah, I don't have diabetes anymore. Now, I am at higher risk now for developing it because I had gestational diabetes. But as of now, I don't have diabetes. Like, my blood sugar is very balanced and stable. My A1C when I go to the doctor is always in a very normal range. So, yeah, yes, good. I'm glad that's encouraging. Um, so, mindful eating is just putting all your attention on what you're eating. That's really all it is just paying attention, focusing on what you're eating when you're eating it. So, I try to focus on how my food smells and tastes. And I try not to be distracted when I eat. And, I have kids, and so that's not always possible. And I realize that it's not always realistic. But but I do my best, right? I don't have my I'm not on my phone while I'm eating. I don't have the TV going. I'm not watching a YouTube video or whatever. I try to be very mindful and just focus on what I'm eating. Now, if my kid interrupts me and, whatever, I can't help that. But, you know, like just trying to focus as much as possible, like not working while you're eating. That's one of the worst things you can do because a lot of us don't realize, we're trying to work and eat and we think we're getting more done, but we're actually not focusing as much on what we need to be working on, and we're not focusing on our food, and then we end up being more hungry and needing a snack later. And then, a lot of times, because I used to do this when I worked at a hospital, I would try to do both tasks, and I ended up making more mistakes, and I had to go back and fix them. So that doesn't being distracted is not good either way for your work or for eating, because you're not going to feel satisfied, and then you're going to want to snack more often because you don't feel satisfied. So practice mindful eating. Don't be on your phone. Don't be watching TV or scrolling social media and stuff like that while you're eating. Try to just really focus on your food and how it tastes and how it smells. And notice your cues. Notice when you're full. When you're full, that doesn't mean you have to keep eating your food. When you feel full, stop eating it. Save it for later. Um, but when we're distracted, we just don't realize it. We might feel full, but we're not focused on that. We're focused on, whatever other task we're doing, and we're not listening to our fullness cue. So, um, that is another thing that really helped me with my health. And then the last habit that changed my health was working on my mindset. And this is a big one because our thoughts influence our decisions, right? And our decisions form our routines, and our routines make up our lifestyle. So, if you if you are thinking negative things, or you have a mindset that is not really healthy, then that is going to make up your lifestyle. It's going to influence the way you make your decisions. It's going to influence the routines that you have, and that it may your routine makes up your lifestyle, so if you have a negative mindset about yourself, your health, or your life, um, and you continue to think this way, then nothing will ever change. Like, if you just keep thinking negatively about these things, then you're not going to ever change it. You have to start thinking differently, um, so you can rewire your brain, essentially, to when you think differently, you rewire your brain to start figuring out how you can accomplish these things that you want to accomplish. So, so if you can start to think more positively about the things you want to change, then your brain will start to help you figure out how to get what you want. And and I didn't know this before, like I was like, there's no way, like, positive thinking, or this mindset stuff is really going to change my life, but it does. So when I was diagnosed with diabetes, I knew I had to start making better decisions for my health, right? Like, that was my wake up call. I was like, I have to do this. And I had gestational diabetes, so I had to do it not just for me, but for my daughter, right? Because that was affecting her health as well, and that made it even more crucial for me. So, so when I was diagnosed with diabetes, I had to make better decisions, and this started with working on my mindset, right? I stopped listening to negativity. I stopped listening to negative things, and I started surrounding myself with things that were positive and gave me hope, right? That's what I did. That's how I started changing my mindset. So I started listening to more positive things. I gave up listening to the news. I gave up listening to dramatic TV shows and movies. I stopped doing all that because it was affecting me. It was affecting my mindset negatively. And so I gave all that up, and I don't miss it at all. I realized that I realized these things were not influencing me in a positive way. It was a negative influence on me. And so I started listening and reading inspirational things, right? I started listening to books and reading books. I started listening to inspirational, like, YouTube channels and things like that, you know, that were more positive and more and less negative, right? So things like that. And and this is also when I started taking my quiet time seriously. And this habit has truly changed the way I view myself and the world. And I started and I love where I am. I love where I'm at now, because if it weren't for me changing my mindset, then there's no way I would be able to do what I'm doing now. I could not, I could not sit here in front of you on a live video and talk about anything, because I would have not had the mindset for that. I would have not been able to start a YouTube channel and do videos every week. I really have changed my mindset and changed my life. Like, I'm in a totally different career now than what I was in, and it's all because I started, focusing on like positivity and inspirational things, and surrounding myself with people that inspired me. And I, distanced myself from people who were having a negative effect on me. So, this has really changed my life, and I really do believe that um, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now if I had not changed my mindset. I would have been way too afraid, not confident enough to do any of this that I'm doing now, you know? So I'm so grateful for these lessons that I've learned. Even though I went through a lot to get here, right? I went through a lot of tough times to get here, a lot of struggling, a lot of learning and failure and growth and things like that to get here. And I'm very, very grateful for it. It taught me so much, and it's given me a confidence to do what I really feel like my purpose is. And it all started with changing my mindset from it all started with, going from a negative mindset to a more positive mindset. And I did that through what I was listening to, what I was taking in, who I was hanging around, and things like that. And so I'm so grateful for this. Like, I've changed my life with this one. And it's been so worth it, because now I'm living a life that I love, and I'm helping others with what I've learned. So it's made me so happy, like, changing my mindset and doing something that I really feel like is changing other people's lives and encouraging others. So those were my 5 habits that really changed my health, and I hope these things helped you. I hope they helped you, look at things differently and consider these things, because we always think it's all about diet. We always think it's about diet and exercise, calories, and how much we eat and how much we burn off. But the truth is, it's not always that. It's a lot of times it can be our mindset, or it can be that we're too stressed out and we have high cortisol, and that's why we're not seeing the results we want to see. Um, so it can be any of these things. It can be that we're just not getting enough sleep, and that's why our cortisol is so high. It could be any of these things. So, so guys, I want to know what tips you felt were most helpful. Like, what tips did you like the most? What tips did you get the most out of? And if you want help incorporating any of these habits into your lifestyle, I do have a $97 course called Cravings to Confidence. And in this course, you will not only learn my techniques to overcoming any craving, but you will also learn the most effective way to change your habits once and for all. So these techniques that I teach you in this course are going to help you. They're going to teach you how to not only um, get over a habit that you've been wanting to overcome. It's also going to help you create new habits, but it's going to teach you a way so that you can be done with it. You can be in control of whatever food you feel like is holding you back, or whatever habit you feel like is holding you back. It's going to put you in control. It's going to make you feel in control. And then once you feel in control, you will be able to overcome that habit for good. And so this is what that course does. So if you're interested in learning more about my course, I will leave a link in the comments, in the comment section after I get off of this live. And you can read up on it. If you have any questions, please let me know. You can leave questions here. If you read it and you have more questions, you can feel free to leave me a direct message or anything like that, or leave it in the group. Leave it in the group as a question, and I can answer it there, however you want to. But anyways, I'm going to leave a link so you can check it out and read more about it. And I hope you guys have a great week, and I will see you next Tuesday. All right, bye.